Having too many things around me used to make my mind feel heavy. When my space was full, my thoughts were full too. And it was like every little object was quietly taking energy from me. When I finally learned to let things go, something changed inside me. And my name is Alex, and today I want to share the 9 decluttering rules that transform my life and even change the way I handle money. These rules started simple, but each one pushed me to look at my habits, my home, and my choices in a new way. And I want you to be here with me as I talk through them because maybe they can help you feel lighter in your own life too. Wherever you are right now, listening to me and imagining your own space and your own habits slowly becoming easier to manage each day. The first rule that truly changed me was the process rule. I used to think decluttering was something you did once and then forgot about, but I learned that it works more like a cycle. Things come in, things pile up, life gets messy, and you need a simple system to bring everything back to calm. For me, that system is walking through my home once a month and removing anything I don't actually use. Sometimes I use 3 boxes, one for things I keep, one for things I donate, and one for things I want to sell. You can use whatever process feels natural as long as you stay consistent. The moment I accepted that clutter returns and that I don't have to be perfect, the whole weight on my shoulders got lighter. This rule helped me stay in control without feeling like my home was judging me. The second rule is the one-touch rule. This rule is unbelievably simple, yet incredibly powerful. Whenever I touch something, I put it away completely instead of moving it from one surface to another. If I pick up a shirt from the floor, I fold it or hang it right away instead of dropping it on a chair. If I grab a cup from the table, I clean it or place it where it belongs. It seems so tiny, almost too small to matter, but it stopped mess from traveling around my house day after day. I realized that most clutter isn't created all at once. It grows because we delay small decisions. This rule feels like taking responsibility for every object, one movement at a time, and the effect on my daily peace has been huge. The third rule is something I call the true cost rule. It is inspired by the idea that clutter does not just take space, but also money that could have been saved. When I looked around my home, I saw things I bought without thinking. Cheap decorations, random clothes, tools I used once, items I thought I needed but didn't. All of them added up to a surprising amount of money. I started reminding myself of the long-term cost. Every object I bought was something I traded hours of my life for. And when I saw clutter this way, I felt more careful. I realized the small purchases often hurt my finances more than the big ones. This rule made me more intentional and helped me avoid letting my home fill up with things that quietly drained my budget month after month. The fourth rule is the favorite rule. I once heard someone say that every item in their home was their favorite version of that item, and it completely changed me. Now, I only buy something if I expect it to be my favorite. I have one favorite jacket, a few favorite shirts, one favorite mug, and a single backpack that I use every day. I do not buy backups or extras just because they are on sale or look interesting. I choose one thing that I truly enjoy using and keep it until it breaks or wears out. This mindset reduces decisions, reduces clutter, and reduces spending. It also makes everyday life better because everything I use feels right. Instead of owning 10 average things, I own one excellent thing, and that is more than enough. The fifth rule is what I call the space limit rule. This rule is simple. I give each type of item a fixed amount of space, and whatever does not fit must go. For example, I have one small shelf for electronics, one drawer for pants, and one little area for mugs. If the shelf or drawer starts getting full, I don't buy a bigger shelf. I reduce what I own. This rule keeps my home from slowly expanding with objects that I never planned to keep long term. It helps me see exactly when my habits start shifting in a direction I do not want. Limiting space forces me to choose what matters and keeps me honest with myself about what I actually use and what I am only holding on to out of habit or guilt. The sixth rule is the suitcase rule. I imagine that I need to pack quickly for a long trip, and can only bring a small bag. When I try this mentally, I begin to see which things matter to me and which things are just noise. If I wouldn't bring it with me during an important moment in my life, I probably don't need it in my home either. The suitcase rule reveals how little I truly require for daily life. When I moved recently, I used this rule in real life and cleared out more things than I expected. I realized that objects I never reach for, never think about, and never use only sit there to fill the room and fill my mind. Letting them go made me feel like I had more time, more space, and more clarity. The seventh rule is the invisible rule. This one is extremely straightforward. If I find something and say, I forgot I even had this, then I take that as a sign to let it go. There is no reason to hold on to objects that are so unnoticed that they disappear from my memory. If something mattered, I would remember it. If something was useful, I would reach for it. Forgetting an item is the simplest and clearest message that it no longer belongs in my life. This rule takes away the pressure of overthinking and makes the process feel clean and direct. The eighth rule is the time value rule. Before buying anything, I ask myself how many hours of work the item truly costs me. Not the price on the tag, but the real cost after subtracting rent, food, bills, and everything else that takes my income. Often something that seems cheap actually represents several hours of my life. When I look at purchases this way, I slow down and think, is this item worth giving away a piece of my limited time on Earth? Sometimes the answer is yes, but many times it is not. This rule stopped me from making emotional purchases and naturally prevented new clutter from entering my home. It also saved me money because when you think about the hours behind every dollar, spending becomes much more intentional and grounded. The ninth and final rule is the release rule. This rule is for everything tied to guilt, failed hobbies, old dreams, or money already spent. I used to keep things because I felt bad letting them go. Maybe I paid a lot for them, or maybe I thought I would use them someday. But holding on to those things did not bring the money back and did not move my life forward. It only kept me stuck in the past. When I learned to release these objects, I felt free. I accepted that the money was already gone and that keeping the item only added stress. Releasing things taught me to live in the present, not in regret. And sometimes I even sold the item and used the money to pay down debt, which made me feel lighter inside and out. These 9 rules reshaped my home, my finances, and the way I think about life. They made my environment calm, my choices simple, and my spending far more intentional. Decluttering is not about stripping life down to nothing. It is about uncovering the things that actually matter and letting go of everything that quietly pulls you away from a life you want to build. If you start with just one rule and slowly add more, I believe you will feel the same peaceful shift that I did. I hope these rules help you see your space and your time in a new way, and I hope they guide you toward a life that feels lighter, clearer, and completely your own. If this helped you, let me know with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational purposes only, and any results depends on your decision and actions.